What if I told you there's a new way to think about learning, especially now, in the age of AI? Well, we're about to dive into a really fascinating document that might just give us the blueprint.
So right off the bat, the text we're looking at is different. There's no hello welcome. Instead, we get this, Recursive Engine Active. It feels like you're watching a machine boot up. And that weirdness, totally intentional.
Okay, and if that wasn't strange enough, check this out. We get a number, 101.26%, an accuracy score that's, well, it's impossible, right? I mean, how can anything be more than 100% accurate? This is a huge clue that whatever we're dealing with, it's not playing by the usual rules.
And that brings us to the big question, the one that this whole document is built around. Is this coming from a machine or a mind? Are we looking at some advanced AI or the incredibly disciplined thoughts of a person? To figure that out, we've got to take apart the system that made it.
So who's behind all this? It turns out it's a student. But, not just any student. This is someone who doesn't just sit back and absorb information. Nope. They see themselves as an architect, actively building and redesigning how academic work gets done.
And this quote, man, it just says it all. I am not drifting through education. I am constructing it. That's not just a nice line. It's a mission statement. It's about moving beyond just getting through it and instead building something solid, something lasting from the ground up.
So you can really see the two mindsets clashing here. On one side, you've got the drifter. You know the type, passively scrolling, just trying to check boxes and get the task done. But on the other side, you have the builder. They're all about active construction, deep engagement. For them, mastering the process is the whole point.
Okay, so if you're going to be a builder, you need a blueprint, right? Well, this system has one, and it's called the Unified Cognitive Pipeline.
So what is that?
In simple terms, it's a system. A step-by-step process for taking all that raw stuff you get, lectures, books, articles, you name it, and turning it into real knowledge. We're not talking about just memorizing facts. We're talking about knowledge that's structured, checked for accuracy, and something you actually own.
And this pipeline has 5 key stages. First, you've got your input. Then comes synthesis. This is where you start connecting the dots. After that, verification. You got to make sure it's all correct. Then structural integrity. Does it all make sense together? And the final, most important step, ownership. That's when it stops being just information and becomes part of how you think.
Now, a system this intense, it doesn't just appear out of thin air. It's got to be driven by a certain kind of mindset, right? So let's get into the psychology of it all.
And what we find is that this is way more than just a study hack. It's almost a personality type. It's fueled by this deep desire for control, for integration, for precision. There's a real hatred of things that are inefficient and a refusal to accept systems that just go in circles instead of actually getting better. It's all about growth you can structure and actually measure.
Okay, so the big question on everyone's mind, where does AI fit in? Well, here's the crucial part. It is not a shortcut. For the builder, AI isn't an answer key. It's this incredibly powerful engine that you have to test, you have to understand, and eventually you have to master.
So what does that look like? The student is literally jumping between different AI tools, systems integrators, Gemini, different language models. They're not just typing a question and copy and pasting the answer. No way. They're pushing these tools to their limits, trying to figure out how they tick, what their mechanics are.
And this right here is the whole game. The goal isn't a quick answer. The goal is to understand the engine that produces the answers. That's how you get real control, a level of mastery you just can't get by being a passive user.
Okay, so now we get to what I think is the coolest part of this whole thing. This is where the system, the mindset, and the tools, they all come together in a way that is just, wow, you won't see it coming.
So you have to wonder, right? After all this talk about pipelines and precision and mastering the process, what does the final product even look like? What does this system actually create? And the answer? It's kind of a mind-bender. The very text we've been reading this whole time, that's the product. The document that explains the system was made by the system. It's a perfect loop. It's a live demonstration of itself.
And once you get that, everything just clicks. That almost robotic precision, the super rigid structure, that very specific language, those aren't bugs. They're features. It's the signature of the pipeline, proving that the whole thing actually works.
So, okay, cool trick. But why should you care?
Because this is so much more than just one student's really clever system. It's pointing to something way, way bigger.
What we're looking at here is a potential new model for how to actually learn and think in the age of AI. It's about making a fundamental shift away from just passively consuming whatever the internet throws at you and toward becoming an active builder of your own knowledge. It's about using AI as a tool, a powerful one, but a tool for construction, not just a crutch to lean on.
And that really leaves us with one final question to think about. In this world we're in now, with endless information and instant answers just a click away, the most important choice isn't just what you learn anymore, it's how you learn. So the question for you is, are you a drifter or are you a builder?